Let's get ready. Somebody used to tell me I look like TD Jakes back in the day, and TD Jake used to always say, let's get ready. So that's what I say now. So what's up? It's me, your boy, coming at you one more time with another car review. You've already seen the thumbnail, so let's just get right to it. It is the 2026 Lincoln Navigator. You just say, growing up, I always wanted a Navigator. Like, I just always wanted a Navigator. I always liked Lincolns, and I always thought the Navigator was a very nice vehicle, and so I wanted one. Quick, as you can see, I got my squirrel skin hat on because I'm down in beautiful Miami, Florida, over here in Wynwood, because really, believe it or not, I'm a Floridian. But this is the warmest place in Florida right now. You see, I don't even have a jacket on. I hate to admit, I do have my shirt layered, so I got a couple of layers under here. But for the most part, I do not have on a jacket. And so I kind of came down to Miami. I went to Palm Beach Cars and Coffee, and then I decided to come down to Miami to do this car review. But there'll be plenty of video about that, so let's just get back to it. I will say, yes, this had always been my dream vehicle. Like, I have always wanted one of these Lincoln Navigators, but this new one is actually beautiful. I realize I say that a lot in a lot of my videos about cars being beautiful, but this one truly is. And so this here is the front end of it. I've seen some models where this light bar here, because this right here is the daytime running lights and a light bar. And just like most vehicles that are trying to be like the Tesla, I've seen versions of this where the light bar goes all the way across the front, and even this emblem lights up on some of the versions I've seen. This one is just kind of a cheaper model, I guess, so this one doesn't light up, although it does still have a very beautiful grille and a very beautiful front end. You know, this emblem is huge, but I do feel like the grille on this newer Navigator has gotten a little bit smaller. I don't feel like it looks as bold as the version before this looked. Believe it or not, I actually had video of the previous model of this Navigator, and some type of way I mistakenly deleted all the video. And when I tell you I was so mad, I was super mad, but I'm gonna try to make up for it this time. Front end is just absolutely gorgeous. I do notice, like I say, most of these luxury vehicles do not feature fog lights at all. And I don't know what that's about, but I just noticed that with a lot of luxury cars, they do not put fog lights on these things. This vehicle right here, if you see that R22, this thing has 22-inch wheels on it, which I'm like, hey, I'm all for it. It almost looks like this thing could go up to 24s or 26s. But these are like standard 22-inch wheels, and they definitely do look a little larger than a lot of wheels in a lot of vehicles. They got the giant chrome piece that says Navigator on it. I don't know if you could tell before, but this is the long Navigator. As you can see, like, most of them are a little bit shorter. They stop like about here, but this one has the extra space, so this is like the Suburban of Navigators, which I think this is called the Navigator L. This one also has electronic side steps, so as soon as you go to open up the door, the side steps drop down. And I don't know if that just comes standard with all Navigators, but that is a very nice feature these luxury SUVs tend to have. And so this here is the interior. And I mean, overall, very nice, elegant interior. Let's see if I can get this to work. And as you see, this is a little animation it does when you open up the vehicle. And so this here is the steering. One thing that's interesting to me about some of these newer vehicles, I don't know who decided to make these steering wheels more oval shaped instead of just round, but these steering wheels to me are becoming more and more like video game controller steering wheels or whatever. Like, it almost feels fake with how like weird shaped it is. So as I'm looking at this, you're like, hey, where's the dashboard? This here is now the dashboard. This long thing across here is a dashboard, and you can see right here where it kind of splits in half, but that up there is now the dashboard for this vehicle. And overall, like I said, just a nice simple interior. Yeah, these right here just like your standard cup holders. This is where you put your phone charger, and you can charge your phone here, and also they have a charge plug in there. Yeah, the gear shift for this vehicle is up here, and the push to start button is right here. I kept making the mistake of pushing this button, but this button controls the trailer. But this right here is how you get the car started. And you get this baby going. You know, it doesn't really, let me turn that down because I don't need Drake putting a copyright on my video. But yeah, this right here is the dashboard. So as you can see, this side over here tells you how much gas you have. There's a couple of different settings for this screen. You can change it to stars, you can change it to mountains, and there's something else you can change it to. It also has a map that shows up, what music you're playing, the date, and then the mileage. Now you can actually change these over here as to what it shows, but there's really not a whole lot of options for what you can show up there. To me, it would be cool if you can play some YouTube videos up there or something like that. So a lot of times when I get in these vehicles, the first thing you try to do is adjust the side view mirrors, right? Because that's just common. But then you come over here and you realize there is no button to adjust the side view mirror. Guess what? To adjust the side view mirrors is right here. So you have to push this button here. And then when you push this on the dash up there, I don't know if you can see it, that is the buttons you use to control the side view mirrors. Now, I really thought all of these up here were touch screen, but they're actually not. Like, this is not a touch screen. Everything is controlled here through the steering wheel. Even to adjust the height of the steering wheel is this same button here, which to me, once I realized that, it was fine. But at first I was freaking myself out because this steering wheel was way too low and I could not figure out how to lift it up. But luckily I discovered and was playing around with it one day and saw this button, and that's how you adjust. And yeah, some of the same things that show up down here will also show up on the screen up there. And like I say, to adjust that, you basically hit this button right here. And then these are just the different options you have to display on the screen. These three right here is what's displaying right now, but these are the other ones that you can display. And I'm assuming that there's probably some package out there that exists where you can get even more items to display up there. This is the center console, which has a ton of space in it, which is nice. Another weird thing is the AC controller. So you actually cannot close these vents. In order to adjust the AC, you actually have to go through the features up here. And in order to close it, you have to push these buttons right here. Like, those are what actually close the AC. And to me personally, stuff like this, I do not like, because I feel like it's only a matter of time before this screen malfunctions, and now I'm stuck with my AC unit being wide open and I'm not able to close it. So it's just little stuff like that. Although it's cool, I personally don't like it because it's like, what if this crap malfunctions? And then this here is the camera. As a lot of these vehicles go, it has a 360 camera, which shows you, everything you probably want to or need to see. Another interesting option about this vehicle is when you hit the turn signal, it literally shows you what's on the left side, and when you turn to go this way, it will show you what's on the right side. And sometimes when you're driving, that's kind of cool. I started realizing there's a lot of trash, and these roads in Florida are also trash because, when you're looking at it on the camera, you're like, hey, they need to fix some of this. It's a big pothole right there. But that's pretty cool. Although I will admit, it can be very distracting. Like, I tried to use that a couple of times instead of using my good old-fashioned side view mirrors, which work just as good as anything else. And I'm not gonna say I almost crashed, but I will say that is very distracting, and I would not recommend using that on a regular basis. So now let's jump into the back seat real quick. I'm just inserting this part in here. This vehicle burns a lot of gas. Now, as you can see on the highway, I was apparently getting about 14 to 15 miles per gallon. And it didn't feel like it was burning as much gas on the highway, but around town, it burns a ton of gas. Also, although this vehicle has a lot of cool features and a lot of cool things, at higher speeds, this vehicle is very rough, which is interesting to me. Like, right now it's fine. Don't pay attention to what I'm doing right now. But at very high speeds, around like 80, this vehicle rides very rough. And I was a little surprised with such a nice luxury vehicle that it could have such a rough ride. Like, it's almost kind of like, you know, and this one was brand new. I mean, this one literally only had 49 miles on it when I picked it up. So I'm like, do they need to take this back into the shop and get the wheels balanced? I mean, what's going on with that? All right. Whoa. All right. So here I am now in the back seat. This is my first time sitting back here, and I would say overall it's not too bad. Now, what's interesting is, you know, I was sitting here in the driver's seat, and now I'm in the back seat. And I will say this doesn't have as much space behind the driver as I would have thought it would, especially with this being such a huge SUV. And even sitting back here, like, my head is almost touching the roof. And as some of you know, I'm 6'2", and yeah, my head is like right here to the roof almost. So that's kind of interesting. Makes me realize maybe this vehicle, I don't know. I don't know if the seats are too high or if the vehicle's just too short. I got enough room back here. I mean, there's room, but it's like I can do just, you know, I can scoot down just a little bit, and now my knees are like bumping into the seat in front of me. But overall, it's still fine. Like, it's not the worst and most uncomfortable vehicle I've ever sat in. It's not the most uncomfortable vehicle I ever sat in. So, you know, you'll be fine. You'll make it. And also, as you can see, this one also has the panoramic sunroof, which I always love those. It's always nice to have such a huge sunroof. And then this is actually the view of the front from the back seat, which, I mean, overall, yeah, a very beautiful vehicle. Very nice. I'm not gonna say simple, because it's definitely not simple, but a very nice vehicle. I just hate that this displays all your information up there so people can be all nosy. And even the people from the back can clearly see, you know, they can tell, like, you know, you can change it to different things, but, you know, it's just a lot of information up there they could see that you may not want them to see, because I think your text messages even pop up there too. I see back here, that's just an AC plug, and it has like the regular, what I almost consider like the house outlets. I'm not sure what this screen, okay, yeah. So this screen back here, okay, it adjusts the audio, it adjusts the seats also. Okay, in case you wanted heated seats and things like that. Chauffeur mode, what the heck does that mean? That's the one thing about a lot of these vehicles is, like, you know, I tend to only rent these vehicles for like the weekend. So there's a lot of stuff that these vehicles can do that sometimes you can't figure it out just because you don't have enough time to try to figure it out. Okay, and I even see right here, they got two chargers, two USB-C chargers back here, right behind the seat. I also see that the AC vent is up here right near the door. That must be a speaker right there and a light right here. And so this Lincoln Suburban also features a third row seat. So let's check the third row seat out. And so this is how you open up the third row seat. And then it's like, you know, you got to try to squeeze back here. So I'm going to try to squeeze back here. I wish there was some type of handle or something they had that I could grab to get back here. So now I am back here in the third row seat. And it's not horrible. I mean, it's not horrible. Like I said, I'm very surprised that my head is almost hitting the top of this vehicle. So I definitely feel like for a tall person, this is actually a very short vehicle. But it's enough where if you're just kind of taking a quick trip or just going out of town real fast, not a long road trip probably, for a person my size to sit back here. For some kids, it'll be just fine. But for a big guy like me, nah, I don't think that's gonna be too good. And back here, there's definitely a lot of cup holders, more chargers. The only little annoying thing is this one here is almost like an 8-passenger SUV, because most of these large luxury SUVs only have seating for 7. This one has seating for 8. But I'm sure you can probably get a version that doesn't have this middle seat right here, which will kind of, see, like even now, it kind of opens it up a little bit and it doesn't feel as claustrophobic back here with this seat right here down. But like I said, when it comes to kids, it'll be fine. But for a full-size adult, yeah, they may get a little claustrophobic back here. And it also has the air vents up top. And obviously this vehicle has a trunk, so let's go check out the trunk. I mean, I can't speak enough for how beautiful this vehicle is. I mean, it truly is. And one thing I find kind of interesting is the way this rear end slants like that. Like, that actually is a little different to me. You know, it almost seems like it wants to be rounded, but it also has a nice sharp curve that goes down this way and then straight down, which is actually pretty nice. And even this rear back here basically goes like straight down, almost like it goes inward. And that's actually pretty cool. I will say right now, I feel like between Escalades and these Lincoln Navigators and maybe the Tesla truck, these type of SUVs have the most distinctive rear ends. Like, I just feel like you can tell what this vehicle is a mile away. Well, maybe not a mile away, but a couple of 100 yards away. When you see it on the highway, you can just tell what type of vehicle this is. And I do love the fact that this whole rear end is just basically all black. Like, no stupid chrome at all. And me personally, I love that. Like, if I was to purchase a vehicle, I would definitely get one like this one. This all blacked out. And like I said, at night, this whole lights right here is just absolutely beautiful at night. And so, as usual, whenever you rent certain vehicles, you have to figure out how to open up the trunk. And so it took me a while to play around with these different buttons to figure out how to open this one. But this right here, there's a button under here that you'll eventually find, and we can open it up. And as you can see, looks like just the top half of this opens while the bottom half stays closed. So from what I've been told, is that's like a new design that they have, where it is like a split open tailgate, where just the top half opens, separate from the bottom half. Fortunate thing I have realized about this vehicle, I mean, it looks like I've been traveling for years, right? Like I'm just almost living out of this vehicle. Unfortunately, I just tend to have a lot of stuff, but you can see there's room back here, don't get me wrong. But this right here is the third row seat. And this here is all the trunk space you have. So yeah, if you putting a couple of suitcases back here, kind of like what I have, I mean, I was able to fit my cooler back here. This is a container with my cleaning supplies. This is a bag I sometimes carry with me. This is my computer bag here. So it's like, is there a ton of space back here? I don't know. I mean, if you can pack nicely, but I mean, if this vehicle can fit 8 people, I don't think baggage for 8 could actually fit back here. Like, I think it's just not enough space. But you know, for regular everyday life where you just kind of coming and going and not traveling a whole lot, it's more than enough space to fit some groceries in. And then don't forget, you can always let down this third row seat. So as long as nobody's sitting back there, you can let this third row seat down. So it should be fine. But yes, also, in order to open up this very bottom compartment, you hit this button here. And that is basically how you open up that most bottom tailgate. And like I say, I think with a lot of these newer SUVs, they have it set up to where there's a bottom tailgate portion and then the top tailgate portion up here. But it does seem like most of them, this glass right here does not open at all. You just hit this button right here, and basically all of that closes together. I almost was about to say that all closes at one time, but it doesn't close at one time. It just closes together. So yeah, overall, this has been a very nice vehicle. I've really enjoyed it. Like I say, I've gotten a lot of people who approach me about it. A lot of people were kind of, you know, because I will admit with this one, I feel like this version of the Navigator, I have not seen a whole lot of these on the highway. And I just drove from Orlando all the way down to Miami. I truly didn't see any of these until I got down. I've seen them around town in Orlando, but I saw a lot more down here in Miami where all the money at. But I didn't see a lot on the highway either. So I don't know if they're still pretty new and a lot of people just haven't gotten them yet, or if people just aren't traveling with them yet, or something like that. I decided to come down here to Miami where there was a little bit of sunshine, you know, because Orlando right now is so cold. So I had to come down here and try to escape that cold. But I do got to get ready to go and get ready to head back to Orlando. So I will say this, I constantly thank you guys for always checking out the videos. Please continue to like, share, comment, subscribe, and all those other good things. And I'll holler at you on the next one. Peace. Let's record it.
You do it. You're the one who got to do it.
You were the one who asked me to record you. Know what you got to say?
Why you putting that so? You said subscribe, leave a like, and share the video.
All right.